So there are no questions. We can stop here. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrita Kalashahastaya Sarvamaya Vinashanaya Trailokyanataya Shri Mahavishnave Namaha. Yeah, Mahesh, you had a question.
I can ask the next class.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So, two questions. One is that the Vachara Ambanam means what?
Vacha Arambanam.
Oh, Vacha Arambhanam. Oh, I don't know.
Vak Arambanam. Vak becomes Vach, then Vacha Arambanam.
Arambhanam. Arambhanam, okay.
Hmm.
What does it mean?
It means words. And what do you mean by words? Words means that which is originating from the vocal cords.
Got it. Oh, Aram, okay, Arambhanam. Okay. And the another question is, here, I mean, I happened to read Chinmayananda's description of this mantra, and there he said the Urdhva Mula means not a geometrically upside down tree. It is something with reference to reverence, meaning it is not superior. He said it is something like indicate the idea of reverence. It's like when we have reverence for in other words, the tree with the samsara tree, the root is much more sacred. That's what he explains.
Oh, the roots are much more sacred.
Sacred. Okay. So I was thinking with that, this is a book, I got it a few weeks ago, and this was published in 1988 in Sandeepani. So, Sandeepani. But I was a little bit surprised in the new book of Chinmayananda, they physically show a tree as upside down.
So, see, that is an imagery. So, it's attractive.
But he has written a page on that, saying that it is not a geometrical thing. And he says that people who look at it without understanding, they say, Upanishad talks nonsense, tree is upside down, and all. He's talking about all that.
Okay.
So and that he is explaining this is because of reverence, because of the trees are more important. I mean, root is more important, and that's why it's shown as this way. So that's some explanation he has given. So he says that so having taken the pain to explain that, I was surprised to see a book which shows geometrically upside down.
Yeah. So that's an imagery. So imagery is imagery. You can't show Brahma anyway. So whatever you show is wrong, really speaking. Because Urdhva Mula means what? Means what? Literal meaning is what? Urdhva Moolam Yasya Vrikshasya Saha Urdhva Mula. Means that tree whose roots are on top. That is the literal meaning of Urdhva Mula. But Shankara explains so much. And so that's a literal meaning. But then you understand what is Moolam is not the actual root of the tree, really speaking. It is Brahma, which is the unknown, invisible source of the tree, the samsara. Therefore, you can bring the tree root back down. Then you can continue visualizing the tree exactly as a tree is to be visualized.
I mean, initially about maybe a year ago or something, I happened to read this mantra. At that time, I didn't understand, but I had a vague understanding. So I thought,
one thing we should accept. It's a bit confusing. If we don't study properly, it can be confusing.
Yeah.
Because if you go away thinking the roots are on top, then
Yeah.
you go back and say he's not talking about any physical roots at all. And Moolam and Brahma is invisible and all. And if the roots were on top, it would actually become visible. At least if the roots are down, it is invisible.
Yeah, that was my point. That
If you
was
put
my
the roots
point.
on top, then it becomes visible. So it becomes confusing.
That's why I thought, because Brahma is not visible, I thought to roots remain in the ground is better. So,
But it is said because
and the fact that it supports the tree being on the ground,
being on the
firmly grounded.
right. So, which what Chinmayanandaji says is correct. I mean, it's a sacred, the sanctity is brought out, and that Brahma, and which is neither the root nor the branches nor the trunk nor anything else. Okay, because if Brahma were the root, then what about the trunk? Trunk is not the root, flower is not the root, fruit is not the root. So many things are there, but Brahma is everything. Everything is Brahma. So it's we can interpret it that way. Yeah.
It's I was surprised to see 1.5 pages of explanation on that. So that's why I thought.
Because Shankaracharya explains so much. Shankaracharya's Bhaashyam itself is 2 pages for the Urdhva Moola.
Yeah.
And so, anyway.
But the class book, this book, PDF book we are reading is from one of the classes, right?
So, PDF book is nothing more than Gita Press book, correct? It is the Bhaashyam.
No, but the explanation more is there, little more, I thought. No?
And there should we are only studying Shankara's Bhaashyam. We are not studying anything more.
No, I'm saying there are some additional things.
Okay, some notes people have made, correct. Some notes here and there they have made. Yeah, some Anmaya they have given. And then I don't know who made all that. Somebody, just for it is there, yeah.
So I thought one of the Swamiji's student might.
I don't know if I come to. So at the beginning of just on the day the Upanishad starts, our Akhil used to manage all these things. He used to hand over all these books. So we all used to collect it from Swami. A line used to stand down. We used to sit on the ground with the old-fashioned bench is there, that table where you can and the Kanakapulla bench. So that old-fashioned bench that we used to have, at least I used to sit like that.
Yeah, Kanakapulla. Exactly.
And then there used to be a chair, that yoga type chair was there where you could lean on and sit on.
Yeah.
Correct. For some time, for a year or two, I didn't have it. Then I started getting all these back problems. I was looking for that kind of a chair. Because sitting for hours and hours in a day without any back support and all that, it was, I thought I could manage it. It was getting difficult. Yeah, Meera and Narayan.
Yeah, Namaste Guruji. This Vakarambanam, I was just thinking like a small kid, when the child is born, it develops this people and the world teaches with Vak, right? To connect with the names and forms and everything. But still we don't call the child before it understands the names and forms as a jnani. Because there's something which is stopping it from knowing itself, right? So if there is jnanam, then ajnanam, it has not learned anything in the world. It probably carries some samskaras, but it's not projecting it when it's a child. So what is stopping us from understanding whether a child is a jnani or not?
What is stopping us adults from understanding if a child is a jnani or not?
Yeah, because I can't understand from the perspective of when it is born what it is. Right? I can't understand because I didn't know whether I was a jnani. Otherwise, I would have known. When I was born, I was a jnani. It's there, but I'm not able to perceive like
it is there means what is there?
Jnanam is there always. It is obvious. For the child also, probably it's obvious. Like in sleep, it's obvious, but something is stopping me from knowing. So that ignorance, what is that in a child which is there, but it is still not contacted. It's not come in contact with the world, and the vak arambanam of knowing objects through words, forms has not begun because it is learning everything from the beginning.
And so the question is,
But it's not in sleep. We don't feel that it's a jnani, right? What is that which is preventing it from knowing itself?
what prevents a child from knowing that I am Brahma?
Because I feel the names and forms, knowing names and forms is forming an obstacle.
Now I understand your question. Okay. So, isn't the childhood the best time? Not even childhood. Isn't that very infant child the best time to know the self? Because after that, I start taking everything as absolutely real, and so that becomes a block. That becomes a barrier on the self. That is your question. I think.
Yeah.
That is magic. That is Maya. That is how it is.
Or maybe putting it this way, how can I see something without when I just saw it before I understood as a name and form?
We grow up taking everything as absolutely real. We grow up taking everything as absolutely real. Nobody, there's no exception to this. Even a jnani today grew up like that one.
But if it
There
was
is no exception.
if the child was a jnani, he wouldn't have been born, no, in the first place.
So that is the other thing. If it was a jnani, then birth itself is out of question.
So the fact that it is born means it is ajnani.
So she is asking, okay, now maybe she was like somebody just, some samsara was left and so child is born. But it's all that is not possible. Child is helpless. The human child is absolutely helpless. Any baby is helpless. And it can only go by instincts. Instincts. All this knowing myself and all these things is not possible.
Or probably it is in almost very close to itself before it starts conditioning with the world.
Yeah, so you have to know the world before you know yourself.
Okay.
That is the rule. Atma Prakashanaya, somewhere in the Bhaashyam, in Kathopanishad, Shankara had said, that is the saving grace, so to speak. That is, this whole world is meant for me to go from Paranchikani to Antarmukha. Supposed to, even though it takes me further and further away. If I'm not careful, I'll just be taken away. So the world, you have to go through the Saguna Brahman before you come to Nirguna Brahman. Yes.
But isn't that Yama says in the Kathopanishad somewhere that Ishvara created everybody as looking outward?
Then
In one of the earlier chapters.
Paranchikani.
Yeah, because he said everybody looks outward, that's what created. So then only you have to. So I don't know. So child also, my point is child also outward looking.
Correct. That's it. Paranchikani.
And also he said it is Vyatrunat Swayambhu. It destroyed the, it's kind of a destruction of the senses also. That means that's an obstacle also.
Yeah, it is an obstacle. It is an obstacle. Obstacle means what? It's not an obstacle when it comes to maintaining the body. You need to do the right things. And so you have to know exactly what things are. You have to know exactly what is right, what is proper to eat, what is not proper to eat. Everything you have to know. But obstacle, yeah, if you take that as to go after those things, then it becomes an obstacle. Yeah. It is an obstacle. A knife is there. Suppose I can ask you, is knife a danger or what? Or somebody asks you that. What will you say? What will you say?
Depends on the user's attitude.
Correct? That's all. Same thing here also. Here also. Sense organs are your enemy. Suppose somebody comes and tells. But what will you say? Your enemies. In fact, Krishna says that. Vairi, he says. Nitya Vairinam and all he says. How do you interpret that? The world is your enemy. Money is your enemy. These statements are very common. The body is your enemy.
Artham anartham.
It comes from this thinking. Body is your enemy means what? It has a potential to take you away. Take you away from Atma. That is why in that context we call it enemy. But otherwise, Uddared Atman Atmanam, you can't be friendly with your body. Better get friendly right now. And so, friendly in that way.
Source of dukkha.
Body is source of dukkha.
Can become a source of dukkha. Can be a source of sukha or be a source of dukkha. That is what we are studying in the 16th chapter, 17th chapter.
Right.
Satvika, Rajasika.
Definitely. Definitely. Good. So good question. So why a child cannot become a jnani? So it's not possible. Not possible. Even the children of most enlightened parents will have to go through the same problems of every child that every child goes through. Samskara is there, environment is different. That's the blessing. Then what happens afterwards is anybody's guess.
But in the child, samskara also is not exhibited. Newborn child, samskaras are not exhibited. It's not visible. Or applied.
Not manifest. Yeah.
Janmana jayate shudraha.
We should not go and talk to Swamiji and say, Swamiji, we were all Shudras. that dialogue for a different time and place.
So basically, child doesn't have the knowledge of Paramarthika nor the Vyavaharika. He develops.
Exactly. And the Vyavaharika is critical, and that's what will come. Because Paramarthika, I mean, come on. A intelligent human being, let's call smart, intelligent, thinking, practical. These practical people are the people who never come to Vedanta. I don't know if you noticed this. The so-called practical people. For them, Vedanta will make no sense. Because nothing is there in it. Because you get nothing out of Vedanta. Nothing. And therefore, the more practical somebody gets. But at the same time, I will say that Vedanta is the most practical thing. Because finally, it's meant for us only. 100% practical. Hey. So, child has to go through its phases. It was born for a reason. It was not a jnani, therefore a child was born. It has to go through to exhaust whatever karma is left. Whatever karma is left. Which means, see, Ravana Maharshi also, Maharshi is a good example for it. As a young boy itself, he was very, very self-aware, and he got it. We can say he got it. He got it. And so he went to sleep and all that, and he never woke up. Things like all those years. And so that's because of that high level of awareness. So just that few years that karma was left. That's all. That's what we say. Some little karma was left. After that, that's it. He just not ran away and all. He doesn't need a place after that. He just full of this knowledge.
Just because a baby, when it is born, it doesn't know anything, and you cannot term it as a jnani, right? That means not knowing anything is not jnana, right? I mean, you have to see everything what you see around in the world, and then you have to get the viveka between what is satyam, what is. Then only you become a jnani, right?
Correct.
If
So
I am
Mahesh,
totally ignorant of everything, doesn't mean I am a jnani.
correct, correct. So you have to see through. You have to see the snake
Yeah, you
and
have
then
to go through that.
you have to see the snake and then say it is not a snake. Both. Both. So correct. Jagat has to be seen. Made a mistake first. The mistake has to be made, and then the mistake is correct.
Yeah.
Awareness of both is there. Yeah. Good. Good discussion. Okay.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.
Dhanyavada.
Dhanyavadaha. Dhanyavada. Take care. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
So Nara.